Hello, 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 hello. Shout out to all the wonderful people out there. Shout out to all of you watching on YouTube, on Twitch. Most of you on YouTube, let's be honest here, folks. Great Lichtman Live. Oh, yeah, you're tuning into the greatest post show on planet Earth. I forgot to mention that. Hello, Max Pressman. Hello, Abe. Secretary of State Andrew. T-Girl. Knowledge is power. Rich. Jason Arnaud. Isaac Cannon. Sam, how's it going tonight? It's going swell. Miguel Ramirez Cardenas. B. So many amazing people in the chat. Appreciate y'all being here on the post show. What's with your dad hating on Bernie? He honestly, truly believes that Bernie is the reason Hillary lost and Trump won. And he's basing that on the keys, so he's not doing it off the top of his head. I don't know. I don't like that way of thinking, as we sort of debated. I'm sort of somewhere in between, like sort of like the militant left and my dad. Like the folks like, I don't know, Secular Talk or Jank or Hassan Piker, like those guys who are like, Bernie or let's burn it to the ground. And I'm also not, Bernie is costing Democrats elections. I'm somewhere in the middle. You know, look, Bernie didn't get enough votes to be the Democratic nominee, you know, in terms of refuting that militant left Bernie bro base. It's like, guys, he didn't win. What are we supposed to do? You know what I mean? He didn't get enough votes to be the nominee. On the other hand, I think, I don't know. I mean, my dad will fight this to the end of time. I think that, you know, Bernie cost Hillary the election, but it's like, I think Bernie should have won, and he could have won. It's possible. Amber Owen says Bernie is part of the reason why she lost. I kind of agree with that. Bernie is one of the only people left in politics now with original thinking. That's kind of where I'm at too. It's like, I want Bernie to be on the national stage because he's pushing this country in the right direction. How does Bernie running affect the keys in any way? It affected the party contest key against Hillary Clinton. I was wondering if the bill they just passed in the House for the budget has to go through the filibuster pass in the Senate. I'm not sure. He's too far left for the country. I don't know if that's true though. I mean, if you see him in like Trump country, he does pretty well. Like he does pretty well in states that Dems don't do very good in usually, more rural, working class states. So I don't know if he is too left. I don't know. A Clinton Sanders ticket would have helped. I don't necessarily disagree with that. Hillary kept Bernie from winning, not the other way around. I have to do a little bit more because I can't remember exactly what happened with the whole superdelegate thing and the DNC. Like, I definitely acknowledge that those all played a role. Is it the reason why Bernie lost? I'd have to do more research. Max Pressman says Bernie should help shape the future of the Democratic Party. I agree with you, generally speaking. T-Girl says, I did love it when Sarah Silverman said, grow up to the Bernie bros, but I like Bernie's voice. Yeah, I mean, look, again, I am somewhere in the middle between the left-wing debate about Bernie Sanders. I don't agree with the Bernie bros who are like, it's Bernie or nobody. It's like, dude, as Sarah Silverman said, like, STFU. Kyle Fishman says budget-related bills might not be subject to the filibuster from what I've read. Okay, thanks for that information. Reed says Trump must be removed from office. Not going to happen. Not anytime soon, that is. It's a Republican-controlled Congress. Will AOC continue Bernie's legacy? I think so. Did you see Elon Musk will be in the first cabinet meeting? Oh god, I saw some video. I didn't click on them. I saw some videos like with those headlines. I didn't really care that much, but yeah, there's this weird thing where it's like, well, he runs the government. He runs all governmental agencies, but he's not been appointed. He's not been confirmed by Congress. He doesn't even head an agency. It's all messed up. Thoughts on AOC running in 2028? I'm pro AOC running in 2028. Secretary of State Andrew says, as for why people are hating Hakeem Jeffries, I myself don't like him. He said in a press conference, we have no leverage. It's their government, such weak leader. Pelosi wouldn't have said that. Yeah, that's kind of the vibe I'm getting, is people just are thinking that he's just too weak. And they're annoyed with his sort of like establishment Dem sort of posture. Pure Holmes clarifies why Bernie lost the contest key for Hillary. The contest key turns false if the incumbent party fails to reach 67% of the total delegate vote on the first ballot, the nomination convention. Clinton got 59.7% on the first ballot. There you go. Thank you for that, Pierre. So maybe my dad's point is maybe he just should have dropped out ahead of time when he saw that there was no chance to win. I think that's maybe a fair assessment. A lot of people are saying no to AOC running. Look, I'm pro whoever wants to run should run. And, we'll figure out who the best candidate is. I'm not saying, like, I think she should be the nominee. I'm saying she should run and see what happens. AOC for Speaker of the House, then that'd be interesting. She's just too young. I don't think any, Democrats, like I said in a previous stream, they're so about decorum and, precedent, and which is good to a certain extent, but, hurts them on other factors. Like, for example, they would just never nominate someone as young as AOC and new to Congress as AOC to such a big position. IMO, that stands for in my opinion. Sanders would likely not have lost to Trump. Maybe. I don't know how. I mean, again, the only thing we have to go off is polls. And I don't know. Polls are just, who the hell can trust a poll these days? So my point is that is mostly speculation. Maybe backed by polling, but I just don't know how accurate that polling was. Dems need to learn that average Americans will never vote for a woman. I don't agree with that. They did. My mom pointed this out at one stream. More Americans voted for Hillary Clinton than they did Donald Trump. So there you go. Do you think there will likely be a constitutional convention in the near future? 19 states have called for it, but it requires 34. I have no idea. I haven't followed that at all or have any real understanding of what that is, other than broadly, generally what that is. Polls should be separate from news organizations. Why do you say that? AOC's district is like 5 square miles. She needs to have a wider appeal than that. She's smart, but way too liberal for the lowest common denominator election like president. I don't really buy this, like, they're too liberal, they're too left-wing, they're too right-wing. I think anybody can win in America. I mean, look at Trump. People would have said, people were saying he's too radical, he's too right-wing, he doesn't have any, election or government experience. I mean, you could say this laundry list of things of why somebody doesn't check X or Y box. I think people do well outside of those boxes all the time, so I'm not willing to adhere to those boxes. Have you seen Jessica Denson's channel? She's been informing us from the start. I don't know who Jessica Denson is. Let me see. Jessica Denson. She looks familiar. I feel like
I'm Jessica Denson, and I host a show here called Lights On.
Did she had Greg on? No free ads.
If it were not for these ugly Jim Crow, awful vote suppression tactics, Kamala Harris would have had 3,565,000 more votes.
Has that number changed since his last Substack article? I feel like he was saying like it was like 4.5 million last time.
3.5 million more votes. That would have given her the popular vote victory over Trump by about 1.25 million. And she would have won the states of Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Georgia.
Trump lost. I'm Jessica Denson, and this is Lights On. Greg Palast.
Damn, she's out there just saying it, huh?
You know the name. He is the producer of the groundbreaking film Vigilantes, Inc. He has been documenting the massive scandal of voter suppression.
Peter Collingswood says, sorry, that's BS. She's an idiot. Wow, that's powerful words.
That is behind the 2024 election. In just the past 24 hours, Donald J. Trump has had the gall to accuse Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky of being a dictator without elections. He has called himself a king from the official feed of the White House. We absolutely need to get to the bottom of what happened in the 2024 election. Greg Palast has been doing that work, and he joins us finally on Lights On to tell us about his findings. Welcome, Greg.
Well, I'm glad to be with you, Jessica. So let me tell you about my findings. You can go to gregpalast.com, and you'll see it in two forms. One, where you can eat
She's a reformed Trumper. Uh-oh.
popcorn and get the information, because there's a film I created with my producers, Martin Sheen, George DiCaprio, narrated by Rosario Dawson. So that makes it worthwhile just to watch. And Jamie Foxx and Leonardo DiCaprio made this film, have financially made this film available for free at gregpalast.com. And it is called Vigilantes, Inc., America's New Vote Suppression Hitmen, and was filmed before the election. I've been working on what we politely call, Jessica, vote suppression. Now, vote suppression is a very fancy term for screwing black people out of their votes and other people of color, including young people who are voters of color. Their color is blue.
All right, I'm not going to watch this whole thing. She's out there saying some crazy, not crazy, I'm not going to say that. She's out there saying some outlandish stuff for sure. I don't know. I don't know. I try to be less outlandish and more tactical in my thinking about these things. I'm not saying she's wrong or right. Sharon Novak says, I always liked watching her, but I wouldn't hang on to the election fraud stuff, not proven. I kind of agree. No, I agree. I don't kind of agree. I agree. Do you believe the narrative that the Trump administration and Elon are intentionally trying to traumatize federal workers into quitting? Yes. Absolutely. Does anyone in the Democratic Party have the balls to fight back against Trump and Republicans? I've heard from Democratic governors, and I am more encouraged from them than the Dems in Congress. Yeah, I think there are people standing up to Trump for sure. I don't like the word fighting or fighting back when used in a political context, because it can be used against you, and it can also be used as an excuse. Like, for example, Donald Trump's January 6th speech, where he's talking about fighting, and everybody's like, it's just a euphemism used in politics. And Democrats use it too. We have to fight. I don't like using that term, again, because it can be used against you, and then someone who is using it violently can use it as an excuse. So like, I would say maybe like which Democrats are standing up to Trump. That's less violent, and I like that for a political context, a non-violent political context better. I'm not saying like you should be scared to say certain things. I'm just saying like maybe be smarter to use the word stand up instead of fight. It's just a word, right? I don't remember you acknowledging it on the show, but your dad had an interview with Grace. Well, I don't know how to say that last name. From the Daily Show last month. It was pretty amazing. I don't know if we talked about it on the show. We posted a short about it. I'm not sure if we talked about it on Lichtman Live. Resist. I think that's a good word too. Yeah. Resist, stand up. I like those words. Democrats get caught up in semantics. Republicans don't. That's a good point. That is a good point. Yeah, I see what you're saying. How do I logically meet your point that I agree with and my point? I'm not sure. The right says whatever words they want while we have to watch our words. Right. Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I still would rather use other words than fight. I don't think it's a very smart word. I don't think it's a very compelling word. I just don't like that word. Sam, I was wondering if you and your dad would play his favorite video game, Doom, on stream. Maybe. Quite possibly. We'll see if we can get that in the works. Sam, MAGA is literally dismantling our government and you worry about word choice. Fair point. Fair point. Would you fight for your rights? Yes, but the context of that is important. Like, would I physically fight somebody for my rights? Potentially, but it depends on the context of that situation. Ukraine does, I know, but I'm saying that's a context where it makes sense to fight. I do not believe that we are in the context of fighting right now. And I'm fine with all the criticism you want to throw on that take. I understand your perspective. I don't necessarily think you're wrong, but I believe what am I trying to say? That's my perspective. But I generally agree with someone who said, like there's so much ish happening, like we're really arguing about the word fight. I agree. It's probably a pointless debate. But just, sometimes I just throw my 2 cents out there. I don't know. I don't think too hard. It's like, is this a debate that we all need to have? I just threw it out there. It's out there. Elon needs to go. I agree. And I think once the courts start blocking him, eventually he'll get frustrated and just not care anymore and go home. Like right now, he can be his like manic self and, you know, run across the government and bing boing bing 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 across the government. And once the courts are like, yo, you can't do that, and then like he can't, he's gonna get bored and move on. You should boycott February 28th so I don't have to wait in line. So what does that entail? You just don't buy anything that day? I mean, there's a lot of days I don't buy anything. It's not that like uncommon for me to like not buy anything in a day. Like if I'm at home, I work from home, you know, I go to the gym, you know, it's part of a month-long membership. I make food that I already buy. I mean, there's plenty of days I don't buy stuff. All right, I won't buy anything on the 28th. I just sometimes wonder how effective things like that are. That's all I'm saying. One of my friends is freaking out about the potential World War III. I don't think we're there yet. A lot of people forget that despite Trump's action, Russia is still weakened. Yeah, I don't think we're there yet either. But Trump's actions are not helping at all. This sort of move away from European security and towards like Russian propaganda is concerning as hell. But I agree. I don't think we're at a World War III phase. But we're definitely at a concerning phase for sure. Sam, did you see that AI video of Trump sucking on Elon's toes? No, and I won't. That's horrific and disgusting. If we boycott, we do send a message to corporations. Boycotts don't really do a lot. Depends on how many people. That's my thing. It's like it's such a general like objective. It's like just don't buy. Like it feels too abstract and unorganized to make an impact, because for that general and widespread of like a boycott to work, I mean, you're talking about millions of people that would have to be involved, and maybe they will be. And if people are saying this is a worthy cause and it's an act of resisting Trump, notice I didn't say fighting against Trump. Resisting Trump, I'm in for it. A lot will be involved. I say give it a try. All right, I'll give it a try. What day is that? Oh, it's a Friday. Oh, that's tough. On a Friday? I'll think about it. I'll change my tune. I'll think about it. VKM says, on the bright side, Germany's new chancellor elected last Sunday is much more pro-Ukraine and seems to be more assertive against Trump and Elon. That's true. He is part of the conservative party, which, you know, doesn't fit my political ideology, but it seems at least like Germany still has like a sane conservative party in their country, which is like, I was watching some videos on him and Germany and I was like, kind of getting jealous. I was like, I wish we had some normal conservatives left in our country. I mean, we do, obviously, but none that, you know, like my dad says, Congress is MAGA now. The White House is MAGA now, period. Germany has no military and consequently no influence. Yeah, but they got a lot of money and they've got a lot of say. And they're like, especially in the EU, they're like the most powerful country in the EU. Especially after like the UK left. I mean, maybe France, but I think Germany has a bigger economy than France does. Who has a bigger economy? France or Germany? What's going on? It's not loading. Germany has a larger economy than France. Germany is the largest economy in Europe and the third largest in the world. Like, you can't say they have no influence. I get the military thing, but they have the third largest economy in the world. Like, you're going to have influence over stuff. The third largest economy in the world. What is this chart? I mean, according to this chart, France has a larger economy, but I don't know. Beth says, I don't see France sticking their necks out until they're attacked. Well, according to Macron, I mean, they put a lot of money in. But yeah, I mean, in terms of military action, yeah, I doubt it. Let's see. I'm going to fact check this. Does Germany have a military? It says yes. Germany has a military called the Bundeswehr. So they do have a military. So that's not true. I fact checked that person. They do have a military. It's a top 15 global military power. See, I shouldn't just listen to what y'all say sometimes. How does Russia have a strong... This is U.S. News saying that Russia has a stronger military than us? That seems unlikely. Here's Germany. According to them, they're the 9th strongest military. Oh my God, this guy Bobby Jones. Hide this user on this channel. All right, that guy's gone forever, hopefully. It's still kind of crazy that the UK left Europe, or at least the European Union. Ever heard of an ad blocker? Look, I want these sites to make their money. Like, they're giving all this information for us for free. Like, think about all the people who worked on this. Like, I'm not going to block their ads. You know what I mean? Germany doesn't have nukes. I mean, that's something. They're still apparently, according to who knew that U.S. News and World Report made military rankings? But they're still the 9th strongest military in the world. Here has France at 7. Germany at 14. They're pretty comparable, I feel like. Italy, I didn't realize Italy was 10th. It's crazy. Like, I feel like when Brexit was like, it just shows you how the media cycle works. Like, I have no idea what the impact of Brexit has been as an American living abroad, right? Like, but it's like when it was happening, goddamn, I feel like every corner of the world knew that Brexit was coming, or like, you know, the vote was coming. But since it's happened, like, I have no, and I'm a person who pays attention. Like, I have no understanding of how it's affected the UK. That just shows you the media only cares about what gets clicks and not what actually matters to people, or what actually, you know, the consequences of a lot of these actions. Yolanda says Brexit is hell. Interesting. Britain will reverse. Musk wanted Germany to turn MAGA-ish because he saw them as a strong alliance partner. Yeah. Well, the AfD still got like second most votes, which is like their far right, not borderline to Nazi party. So that's concerning. Germany election results. But no one's going to work with them, so they won't have any power. So this is the Conservative Party. They won, obviously. But look, second place is the AFD, which is like the far-right party. And then the Socialists got third. That's concerning a little bit to me. But again, apparently the Conservatives say they're not going to work with the AFD, although I heard that they did recently, like in their last parliament or whatever this, I don't know what they call this, their last parliament. The Conservatives did work with the AFD to like pass some bill. So they say that for now, but we'll see how real that turns out to be. Pierre Holmes says the German election is just the latest example of how this global trend, anti-incumbent sentiment, and voters raging against incumbent world leaders and parties. Yeah, because the incumbents were the socialists, Olaf Scholz and the SPD. What does that stand for? The Social Democratic Party of Germany. Yeah, they were the incumbents and they got third. So, you're not wrong. Secretary of State Andrew says, I feel it's quite possible the Conservative Party will work with the AFD. Wouldn't be the first time conservatives lie before an election. That's what I'm saying, dog. Politica Pow says, and again, this election was driven by disinformation. Yeah, that's a real problem, guys. Real problem. AFD got 20%. Social Democrats got 9%. I'm looking at the results right here. They got 16%. I don't know what you mean by 9%. Is this what you're talking about? This party? I don't know what party this is. Oh, the left party got 9%. Die Links. That's how you say the left in German. Yeah, I'm like that. All right, folks. A little short today, but I'm going to wrap up here. All the Lichtman Live posts are the greatest post show ever created on planet Earth. I appreciate you all tuning in, sticking around past Lichtman Live to hang out and chill. I want you all to have a good night. I will see you all Thursday.